from Studio B, and welcome to SB native Pete Dal Bello. I'm Pete Dal Bello, and as always, I have my lovely co-host, Jatsibe Sandoval.
Pete, we don't usually have politicians on the show, but tonight our guest is someone that you know quite well.
That's right. Tonight's guest is Oscar Gutierrez, who was recently elected to represent the West Side on the Santa Barbara City Council. Oscar, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
When I first mentioned that you were going to be our guest, a few people asked me how I got you to agree to come on the show. And they didn't know that you work at the station. So I just told them, I just walked down the hall. But before we get started, people still remember. They still remember that I was the first to endorse your campaign.
That's true.
Back in January, and I read all the paperwork, I always do my research, and let's take a look at the clip.
And we're going to start with Mr. Dal Bello, and Michael Miranda is giving you his time. I'll remind you that it's late, and it's really a privilege to pull time, and you take advantage of that quite a bit, Mr. Dal Bello.
Yes.
So
well,
if you would.
I have a lot to say, you know me.
Thank you.
Okay. And I get 4 minutes?
You have 4 minutes.
Okay, thank you. Madam Mayor and City Council, my name is Pete Dal Bello. Appointment or special election? That is the question. I support both with one condition. That the person appointed only serves until a June special election can take place and can't run for re-election in June. Otherwise, the person selected could potentially spend most of their short term campaigning for re-election. That would be like someone in their fourth year of a 4-year term. We need a seventh vote, as we just had 3-3 votes tonight. I don't like to complain, but that's a problem. So we need an appointment, but interim only, as I mentioned. The West Side should also have a voice and be able to choose their representative. Voters in the other 5 districts voted for their council member. Let's be fair. Remember, as we later learned, the June special election would only cost $30,000. This is also much cheaper than having to hire legal representation if the city gets sued on this issue. You can't put a price on democracy. We spend so much time, and we should, encouraging people to vote. If we don't have a special election, does that mean that the city is telling the West Side that they shouldn't vote? We want everybody to vote. So my recommendation is for appointment with the interim only option, as mentioned, with the June special election. And I spent some time, I printed off all the candidate forms and everything, and you'd be proud of me, Sarah, and did my research, and I just want to say that I endorse Oscar Gutierrez in a special June election. Thank you for your time and kind attention.
Thank you, Mr. Dal Bello. You actually bring up a good point that I'd like to clarify now with Mr. Kalan. So, you're done. Thanks. But you gave me the idea that I need to ask this question, so I'm grateful.
Well, and it helps to have an excellent co-host.
It does.
With a great personality.
And she's pretty.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So, Oscar, you're a Santa Barbara native. I know you're from the West Side, which I tell Pete all the time is the best side.
Thank you. Thanks.
Where'd you go to school?
I went to Harding Elementary, and then I went to La Cumbre Junior High. San Marcos High School, Santa Barbara City College, and then UCSB.
Oh, yeah, you're a
Yeah.
royal.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
as well.
and a vaquero.
Nice.
Yeah,
Same here.
that's
What year did
awesome.
you graduate?
Well, that's a personal
All
question.
right, okay.
Not even I'd ask her that question. But you
Sounds
know,
good.
if our crew can show a map of the west side where you'll be representing, and you know, what inspired you to run for city council?
Well, you know, being born and raised on the west side, I agree with my neighbors and friends about how we kind of felt like the city wasn't really paying an equal share of attention to all the parts of town, especially the ones that we grew up in. So working for TV Santa Barbara since 2003, I was assigned to cover and report on all these issues that were affecting all of us as residents of the city. And over the years, I started to get more aware of the issues and the people who were involved with them. And it drove me to want to get into government. So I started working for the government television station of Carpinteria.
I see.
So I was broadcasting, the city hall meetings, the school district, fire, water, planning, all those meetings that Carpinteria was having. I was broadcasting to the people. So it started getting me more aware of how government worked. And when we were reporting and covering a lot of the election back in November for the mayor, the reality of Kathy being elected started to set in more and more, and it started to, grow this idea in my head that, if she were to get elected, then her seat would be vacant, and somebody would have to step up from the 3rd District to replace her. And I figured, why not be somebody who was born and raised there and who's spent a lot of time, a lot of years covering the issues. So I decided to give it a try and represent the community that raised me. Yeah.
It's really amazing. You took your work from just, some people have the option of just sitting idle or being passive when it comes to having to film and be there for all those big events, but you actually went ahead, studied the stuff, you took it in, and now look at you, man.
Yeah,
that's so awesome.
It was definitely a paradigm shift for me because I was used to being behind the camera and not really having an opinion, just recording it the way it happened and then sending it out to the people. So this was a huge shift for me, the way I think and I present myself, because now I do kind of have to, voice my opinion and express my thoughts to people and to the public. So it's different being in front of the camera. Let me just say that, because I kind of feel guilty for the way I treated some people when I was behind the camera, and now I'm in front of it, and I'm just like,
Well, you always got my best side.
Yeah. All right. Well.
So I know you. So you were covered as Carpinteria City Council meeting. I know you're glad I wasn't. They're probably glad I wasn't there.
you can always do a guest appearance.
I could. I said I don't know. I'm just reading the agenda and I already found something to complain about. But I'm sure I'm one of the more outspoken people you've seen at a council meeting.
Yeah, but I respect and admire residents like you because honestly, we should all be as passionate about local politics as we are about our sports teams and celebrities and games and such, because this is what actually affects our daily life, and I don't think the public overall really understands that and respects that. So I have nothing for respect for people like you that actually
Thank you.
take time out of their lives to come address and voice your opinion about the issues that matter.
And he
So
always
thanks.
goes all well dressed.
He does.
Gotta
does.
support the purple tie. And I know city council is seen as a part-time job, but what that means now you have 3 jobs. So are you going to give up one of them, or I don't know? Maybe you're a time management expert and can live on 3 hours of sleep. I don't know. What are your plans in that regard?
Well, yeah, right now I am, my number one priority is my oath to the residents in the city. So I am right now lucky and blessed to have 2 employers that are allowing me to feel it out and see what I should and shouldn't do. So they're allowing me to have some time to make my decision, and I haven't really made it yet because like both of these jobs, Life Chronicles and TV Santa Barbara, are a part of who I am. You know, they're a part of my character. So it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of like giving up a relationship. You know, so it's a tough one, but you know, I love my city and I love the community, and I want to serve it. So luckily, they both really understand and respect that, and they're giving me the time to make my decision.
That's great.
But yeah,
That's good. That's good.
yeah.
So during the campaign, you talked about the city's television and web departments. How would you make these things better?
Well, you know, let me just clarify that I want to make it clear that I don't think that they're doing a bad job, because I'm super impressed with them. You know, Tony and everybody there, they're extremely talented and hardworking. Like, I've known them for years, you know, so I know them. And I realized, like, maybe the way I said it during the forums wasn't as clear as I should have been. I just feel like they can do a bit more of educating the residents on how to do certain things in the city, because a lot of people don't really know how to start a business or how to report certain things, and they can make little videos that kind of show that. That's all I was saying. I'm not saying they're doing a bad job. None of that. They probably already have that in mind, but they haven't executed it yet, you know, so it's just kind of things like that. So I just want to make it clear that I wasn't like throwing them under the bus or anything, because I got nothing but respect and admiration for them, because they're really good.
Well, Oscar, you know, there's always room for improvements.
Yeah, of course, and everything. Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I would, you know, I'm obviously a video person, so I'd like to work with them and just suggest things to them about certain things that could potentially help the residents, you know, be more productive in the city.
And don't forget your population, the west side,
Yeah.
make it bilingual.
Exactly. That's stuff that they've already told me they're talking about and trying to get done, so I'm looking forward to it.
You better make that happen.
Okay.
I'm holding it to it.
All right, yeah.
She wants you to make it the best side.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I said, there's always room for improvements. It is the best side, but it could be the best side.
Okay.
Well, you know, during the campaign, people said that you were a puppet for Mayor Kathy Maria. Now, one person even referred to you, it wasn't me, but somebody else, even referred to you as Kathy's clown. Now, you know, city council is supposed to be bipartisan. Now, can you really be independent from the Democratic Party and Mayor Murillo?
Yeah, you know, I'm going to take an oath, and that's the second time I've taken an oath in my life. I took an oath when I worked for Carpinteria City Hall, and it was to protect the Constitution of the United States from enemies, foreign and domestic, and that's the oath I'm taking, you know. So I didn't take an oath to, you know, help out Kathy or take an oath to help out the Democratic Party. I took an oath to protect the Constitution, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm working for the citizens and the residents of the city, and that's ultimately who I'm obligated to work for. So that's what I'm doing. You know, I've been teased, bullied, harassed, and discriminated my whole life. I knew stuff like that was going to happen. I was actually surprised it took as long as it did.
Really?
To tell you the truth. Yeah, because you know, it's name calling. It's just something that, you know, desperate people do to try to discourage you. But like I said, I grew up, you know, going through it, through going to school and growing up where I did. So it's nothing new for me, and you know, it's a little discouraging, because you know, you would think once you become an adult you get over name calling, but it still happens. You know? So I'm well aware of it, because you know, working here, people are very free to speak their mind. So I've heard people call me things, and I've heard and seen people say things that are just shocking. But again, you know, this is a channel of free speech. So if you don't like it, then don't do it. But I like it, so I put up with it. You know.
I see.
I love how you phrase that, right? You think we're all adults here. So I have a note here, Pete. So you told me that you're still looking for the Gutierrez for
Yes,
the council literature.
I'm still looking for that.
What happened there?
What happened to that?
You know,
It said Gutierrez. You know, there's a street that says Gutierrez. You think your campaign wouldn't make that mistake?
yeah, you know, it's something that when we review the literature, I mean, multiple people looked at it, and we're not really too sure where the error happen, after we reviewed it. So a lot of people are just, we don't want to point fingers or anything like that, because it happened. There was no way we could take it back. But, it's made a funny story. I got a bunch of gifts from friends. They were giving me bags of cutie, little tangerines.
Yeah.
So, like, in a way, the cutie,
You think I would have thought of that?
the cutie little orange became like my mascot. It's kind of funny, because I actually enjoy the cuties. So,
Well, I've been searching eBay to see if I could find some of that literature.
Yeah, I think we kept them. I'm not sure if we recycled all of them.
Because that would be worth a little bit more valuable, because there's, it's kind of like a rare
become a
coin.
senator.
Oh, please. Yeah, it's hard enough to get
We'll
on
bring
the
it up
city
on the
council.
show. I'll say, look what we got from yesteryear.
We'll frame it.
That's right. We'll be right back after this word from our sponsors. Welcome back. We're here with Councilman-Elect Oscar Gutierrez, and 2 sports-related questions. Because as I know, Jatsevia is glad that you played for the San Marcos Royals.
Yes, I
That's
did.
where she went to high school.
Yeah, go.
Yes.
Royal pride.
Yes, heck yes. Royal till your day you die. I would say something else about the Dons, but we have, unfortunately,
Don.
someone here.
And I'm always a Don.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, gosh. So, Oscar, how well do you know Alex Mack? And who plays for the Falcons?
Yeah, Atlanta Falcons, yes.
She's a big NFL fan, as you can tell.
He originally got signed on to the NFL to play for the Cleveland Browns, but then he got traded to the Falcons. And I know him because we played football at San Marcos High School together. And so funny story is that I was the starting center. I was a senior and he was a sophomore. And he got moved up to varsity, and basically within a day or two, he just took over my spot. So, just look at the guy. He makes me look like a kid when I'm standing next to him. That's how big he is,
Wow.
And that was even back then when he was like 16 or 15, however old he was. And not only is he completely gifted as an athlete, but also like he's extremely intelligent, which is really important when you're the center, because you basically have to know all your plays and also the other team's plays and be able to call them out, So it required a lot of studying, on top of the school, and he was just really good at it. So, I teased him that the first time I went to go see him play in Cleveland, my nephews wanted an autographed picture of him. So I asked him for some pictures, and there's this moment where I said, "Hey, can I get your autograph?" And we both paused and kind of looked at each other, and it was this weird moment because like you're asking your friend for an autograph. It was this weird kind of like, whoa, like, this is weird, and then he like looked at me and he's like, what do I write? Like I don't even know what to write, And I said, how about thanks for teaching me everything I know. And he's like, I'm not going to write that, I was like, come on, man.
That's so perfect.
I thought you had to be the center.
You gotta say, be a friend, man.
So that's how I know Alex, and we stayed friends ever since. And it just goes to show what kind of guy he is, because how many of these professional athletes still stay friends with their with the friends that they made in high school, because he's a super popular guy now. He plays for one of the best teams in the NFL, and he's one of the best athletes in the game. And yeah, the fact that he still texts me saying, "Hey, have you seen this movie?" or "Hey, have you played this video game?" and we still text back and forth like we're still in high school.
You'll have to tell him you were on this show. He'd probably say, "Why?"
Oh yeah. He'll probably retract his endorsement. Who knows?
Yeah, I know he'll tell Matt Ryan all about it.
Oh yeah, sure.
And most people don't know this. And I can't keep a secret.
Oh, okay.
Can't keep a secret. Your girlfriend, Jordy Scully, is related to Hall of Fame baseball announcer Vin Scully.
Yes, that's true.
So now, see, if you listen to me and asked her to marry you, you might be related to Vin Scully right now.
Yeah, that's a interesting point of focus for you, but yeah, that would be technically correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, the last episode I was trying to get two people on stilts together, but that was at the solstice parade.
Oh, really? I gotta check that out.
I told you. Stop trying to be a matchmaker. This is not going to count because they're already together.
Oh,
yeah, that's a good point.
But
doesn't count.
But I'm not going to ask when you're going to pop the big question. I won't ask that.
Thanks.
I'll leave that for Josh Molina and Nick Wells.
Did she put you up to this?
No.
I'm still going to ask, but I'm going to ask off camera.
Okay.
Thank you.
My question
it's getting hot in here.
Yes. My question is, where did you meet Jordy and how long have you been together?
Oh, man.
You know she's watching this now.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm asking if she put you up to it.
No, she likes me because we both want the same thing.
Yeah.
You'd have popped the question.
Yeah, well, I got to meet Jordy, my girlfriend, when we were both going to City College, and I was the opinion and multimedia editor for the City College newspaper.
Oh, the channels.
Yeah, the channel's newspaper. I hear that you're an alumni of that as well. So is Josh, and actually so is Kathy. Did
Kathy
you know
Maria?
that?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Look at
Isn't
that.
that interesting?
Yeah.
So we have something in common.
Yes.
Just got to find it, but we find it.
Yeah.
So common ground for everybody.
Yeah, I was the multimedia editor and the opinion editor for the paper, and Jordy got hired to be the office manager
of the channel.
Yeah, so we spent a lot of hours together getting the newspaper done and on time and getting it uploaded to the internet. And one thing led to another, and we just started to date, and we've been together ever since. And yeah, I've been blessed to have her because she's been it's been about 8 years off and on. There's been times where she decided to go teach English in Spain, and she travels a lot. She travels way more than I do, which I respect because I'm a pretty big independent dude. But to travel some places by myself, I would get nervous about it. But she would go and do it by herself. She traveled Europe all by herself, and I just admire her. She's like my hero, you know what I mean? Like, she's my inspiration, and I'm lucky to have her. She comes from a great family. A little side note, like, not only is she related to Vin Scully, but her grandfather wrote the first book about UFOs. Wow. So the writer and creator of the X-Files named Agent Scully after her grandfather. Really? Yeah. Yeah, it's a true story.
So you're like, what, the third most famous person in the family?
No, her family, she comes from a long family, a very proud family of civil rights activists.
You might be out of the top 10.
Yeah, I know. No, I'm lucky to be a part of that family in the way that I am because, we're very like-minded. Like, they have a lineage of, going back to World War I of being civil rights activists. Oh, wonderful. Which was back then was really rare.
Advanced.
Yeah. So, I'm proud to be a part of her family, and and she's proud of being a part of mine.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Oh my God. So I'm not going to ask you. I'm just going to tell you better marry her.
Is she out there somewhere?
Okay.
Invite us to the wedding, Joey.
Yeah,
when are you going to get sworn into office, and what are some things you're going to work on?
All right, so I'll be sworn in on July 10th, and I'm going to work on trying to make the 3rd District safer, because one of the things that we were all campaigning on was the fact that it's very dark at night on the west side. And we just want to add more lighting to make it safer and have the residents feel safe to walk around at night, because it's a fact that the brighter an area is, the less crime there is. So we want to make it so that the streets are safe and people don't fear crossing the streets, because I heard that a lot from the residents, that a lot of those intersections are dangerous to cross, especially if you have kids or you're elderly. So I want to make sure that we get lighting, and that we look at redesigning or repainting the crosswalk so it's safer for people to get around.
Yes, or have one of those lights that's on every other side or every other place of Santa Barbara, where you get to press the button and it's flashy.
Yeah.
Get one of those things.
Yeah, especially on the routes for the kids to get to school. I think.
Oh
I think
my
that's
God,
pretty important.
yes.
Or the churches as well.
Yes, or when you talk about the lights, put more lights at the stops, the bus stops. Those are so dark and scary at night.
Right. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'll see if I can talk to MTD about that.
Yes, you got some ins now.
There you go. Well, Oscar, thanks for the time.
It's over already?
I know, it's hard. Time flies when you're having fun.
Exactly.
And I hope we have you back on the show in the future.
Yeah, I'm sure you will.
I know you'll always remember the TV show SB Native Pete Dal Bello.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks
Thank
for
you
having
so
me.
much.
I appreciate it.
Councilman-Elect Gutierrez.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we're going to be bringing you back on multiple times.
Well,
We're gonna
you know where to find me.
There you go.
That's
Well, everybody knows I know where City Hall is.
pretty sure you can find it with your eyes closed.
There you go. That's right. That's right. And and this show wouldn't be possible without the support of our sponsors. And I'm going to mention them right now: Town Associates, Pani Vino, Via Vi, Dal Bello Investments, Tino's Italian Grocery, where we get these great Pizzelli cookies. Dr. David Inman, who's the best chiropractor in town. He's located in downtown Santa Barbara, Victoria Court, Suite 24. Patrice Serrani, she's a realtor with Berkshire Hathaway on Coast Village Road. Sheer Delights Lingerie and Accessories at 422 North Melpa Street, Suite 2. The International Chiari Association, the Craftsman District, and Dal Bello Productions. I also want to remind everyone to remember to watch us every week here on Channel 17. We're on Mondays at 9 p.m. and Fridays at 10:30 a.m. And also, please connect with us online on YouTube, where you can see all of the episodes of this show. Search Dal Bello Productions. And remember to like our Facebook page at SB Native Pete Dal Bello. I want to thank everyone for watching. Good night, everyone, and good night, Irene.